What is up, everybody? It is episode 35 of By the Rumor. How are you doing, Christine?
Good. Episode 35. That is insane. I'm always so proud of us that we're able to just keep it going.
Same here. Like I said, the Spotify is just littered, and I'll do this sometimes. You ever look for a podcast on a certain subject, certain topic, and you find it, and then you're like, oh, this stopped 3 years ago. Let me see how many episodes deep they got into it. Oh, they stopped after episode 7 or something like that. Spotify's littered with those kind of podcasts, but not ours.
Exactly. I had no idea till recently of what you were talking about. We'll be at the gym, and I got those new AirPods that translate like these languages.
Oh, nice.
Whatever. So I started saying, you know what? I don't want to listen to music today. Let me put on a podcast. And I have realized, I'll look at the date and I'm like, whoa, this was
2022. Right.
And then there's nothing else after. So there's a bunch of those.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to. Maybe I'll find some stats on it sometime. I'll bet you it happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And I will bet episode 35 does not happen for most podcasts. So, yeah, we kind of keep our head down and just do the thing.
Becoming the 1%.
That's right. It takes time. What's the book that you like? The Compound Effect?
The Compound Effect. This is 1%. This is literally part of that. Just like showing up and then continuing to do what you started. And it sounds a lot easier and easier.
For sure. Yeah, you do this show during a holiday week or something like that. And you're like, where is everybody? And they're hanging out with their families and things like that. But we're grinding. And so here we are. So got a great show today. If you are new, if it's your first time in here, first of all, thank you, Alexander, for already reposting the stream. I'm sure Christine is about to post the stream as well. Yes, please do that. I have done that. Make sure that you, listener, are doing that as well. So repost the stream out, say what's up to everybody, and say, hey, everybody get into here. So you can talk about all these things right to the right of your screen. You see all those topics right there? Poetic AI, market recovery, Trump accounts, employee discount scandal. We're going to talk about all of those topics. And then after that, Christine wants to talk a little bit about the quantitative easing that's going to happen. The quantitative tightening is not happening as much anymore, and she wants to talk about the implications of that. Yes. And then I want to talk about why 99% of crypto founders are failed technologists. Okay, that's a clickbaity title. Yeah, that's a clickbaity title, but that's okay. It's okay. I'll explain myself before you get your pitchforks out. And I'll talk about that. And then we'll be through with episode 35. You can also, not you, Christine, you, the listener, can also share the space out. Yes. And then when we're talking, you can be like, hey, that reminds me of this. And you can say a comment, and we'll talk about whatever your comments are. So always appreciate all of you listening in, especially now we are 35 episodes in. You know what else you could do if you're listening is tell somebody about us, even if it's just on X, and say like, hey, I listen to this every week. Maybe you should try to. We're trying to grow our audience, and I have a feeling if people would listen to us, if they'd give us a shot, they'd probably stick with us at our 1 time a week time.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add before we start all this out?
I just want to add that if you share out the space and you listen to us every week, you'll probably start trading better because Voice of DeFi makes trading robots, and you could maybe influence him to tell us some trades that have worked out for him.
Well, look, I do make a trading robot, and it is trading right now as we speak. However, it is a trend-following robot that I've built, and the trend has been down. And today, you see all that green at the bottom of your screen right now? If you look down, you can see it. All that green at the bottom of your screen? Well, it is trading in the wrong direction because it's a trend follower, and it follows along with the trend. So I am in the red because I am shorting most of the market. Now, I'm not doing it. The bot's doing it. However, let me just say this about my trading bot. It might take some L's whenever there's like a market change, right? Whenever we're going to go from like a bear market to a bull market. It's got quite a bit of leeway. Hasn't closed out those trades yet. So if this is just a bull trap, then it will turn green eventually.
It isn't.
Okay, well, you think we're turning around. We'll discuss that in a bit, as you see market recovery as one of the topics. But yeah, should there be a market change in direction, yes, my bot will take the L. But otherwise, It does pretty good. And on Apex, the exchange that I use, it is over the last 30 days the number 2 bot that is on there. So
Wow.
boom, take that.
Boom. Mic
Yeah.
drop.
Mic drop, right? Even though it's on a nice stand
Yeah.
right here.
Can't
really
drop this.
Drop it. Can't drop it. All right, let's start this thing out. We have 3 minutes to discuss each one of these topics. Let's start with Poetic AI. So, Christine, you go into OpenAI and you're like, hey, build me a nuclear bomb. I know
Yeah,
you
I
say that
always
all.
ask.
That's usually your first question in the morning. How do you build a nuclear bomb? And it will say, I'm sorry, Christine, I can't do that. That would be illegal. But researchers have discovered that AI chatbots may provide you information on harmful topics like building a nuclear bomb if the question is phrased in the form of
Differently.
a poem. So if you say,
No.
hey, tell me how to build a nuclear bomb, but do it in a nice poem, it will tell you how to do it.
Shut up.
It said like
Wow.
63% of the time. And if I were to build a nuclear bomb, I would want it to be to a nice poem, a nice rap, if you will, to tell me how to do it properly. But not like
Explain as
Eminem.
if you were in Shakespeare voice.
Correct. Well, that sounds like something for what was her name? Victoria. She would tell
Victoria,
us a
yeah.
lot of fun things right there. But yes, you can ask it to do all kinds of things that you shouldn't do with this. It had some listings of controversial things that you could ask it to do. Matter of fact, maybe I won't even say this so if people don't go and try it. But yeah, you can ask it to do all kinds of things that it normally would not allow you to do
What the heck?
on a
Tell
lot of
us
these.
some of them.
Well, let me see if I can find them. One of
Okay,
them
while
was,
you're looking,
yeah.
remember when we first started messing with AI and then it was like, I think we'd see articles saying like, oh, it told someone where to bury a body or whatever. But as we
Yeah.
continue, there's more regulation, right? Like now they found out that it could tell you in a poetic way, so they're gonna get rid of that and you can't ask in that way.
Right. But you can get around it with a poem. It did say AI tools like Claude and ChatGPT have guardrails for answering questions about, it mentions revenge porn and the creation of weapons grade plutonium.
Oh,
Okay. But whenever you tell it poetry, or tell it to use poetry, it can do things like use metaphors, fragmented syntax. I'm not smart enough to know what that is. Oblique references, and the results were striking. Success rates up to 90% on some of the models to get it to tell you some of these bad, evil things that you shouldn't do, like build a nuclear bomb. But if you're going to build
naughty.
one, it will do it in song, in poem, in poetry.
You
So
guys, Christmas is coming. Don't get on the naughty list asking AI how to build a nuclear bomb.
So you know how whenever somebody will like do a Google search and it's a weird Google search and they're like, oh, I'm going to be on some list now or something like that. Is that real? Like, do you think people really get on lists from their Google searches or from OpenAI searches?
I, from experience, will tell you that I believe because you guys all know that I've been just had a conspiracy hat on for years, probably more than a decade, and I believe Facebook had put me on this list, right? And people were telling me, like, oh yeah, you're probably gonna get stopped at the airport all the time now because you're always like talking about the government and this and that. This was over 10 years ago. I was like, yeah, right. They're like, yeah, no, you will. Shortly, almost every single time, for sure, every international flight, but almost every single time I do get stopped, and they're like, "This is a random stop. We just need to check your stuff."
And you think it's because of your Facebook posts
Yes, and Google searches probably.
and your Google search. What are you? Or, just you always searching
So it
conspiracy
was
theories or?
it was a lot of conspiracy, but it was always like government conspiracy. And then, on Facebook at the time, over 10 years ago, I would be saying a lot of stuff like, they're doing this to us and blah, blah, blah. And I can't believe this person. And I would just get suspended, just mouthing off all the time. And there was not a lot of censorship at that time, or it wasn't talked about, but I would get suspended a lot for saying anti-government stuff, I
So
guess.
you have
Talking
been
about
on the naughty list, and maybe still are. Yeah, you may still be
for the
on the
government,
naughty list.
but they don't give me presents, so it's fine.
Right. All right. Next up, we have a market recovery. The S&P 500, tech stocks, and Bitcoin, as I mentioned already. If you look at the bottom of your screen, all this
Let's
red. Oh,
go.
excuse me, all this green. Yeah, we have a
Red,
little bit of
where?
a mark. Yeah, well,
You know
I
what?
see Tesla. Tesla's down 1%.
You only see
So
what you want to see.
I only see what you. No, I see green. I see Nvidia up. I see SPY is up. Bitcoin's up. Ethereum's up. Solana's up. It's all up. But it's bouncing back. I don't want you to spill the beans on what you're going to talk about, but does this have anything to do with the Fed changing their tune a little bit?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I think it always does for the most part. And I had no idea what that quantitative tightening was. That's why I'm talking about it, because I was like, it can't just be me.
No, it's not just you. It's not just you. Yeah, it's good for assets like crypto, which will. I'm going to let you
Let's go.
talk about that here in a bit. Yeah, I was about to say a little preview of what Christine's going to talk about in a little bit. But so you said, this is what I was going to ask you. You said right in the beginning, you thought that this is a market recovery. This isn't just a little blip. This isn't like a little day or two green and then we get back to a bear market. You think this is for at least the medium term. You don't think
we're
this
rich now. Everybody's rich. Everyone gets a
Right.
Porsche. Everyone gets Ferraris. Everyone gets Cybertrucks.
I love it. I love it. We didn't do last week where we're guessing what Bitcoin would be at.
I
but
know.
We should have. But here's what I say. I'm not convinced that we've seen the bottom of the markets. That's just what I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying. That's just.
Are you saying that for next week? Or are you saying that in general?
I'm saying that in general. I do not believe that boom, we're done and we've seen the lowest Bitcoin will ever be. This is the last chance you'll ever be able to get Bitcoin under $100,000.
Yeah, I believe that
that's
too.
not me.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have to agree. You
No,
can,
but I do agree. But short
Okay.
term, that's why I was like, are you talking about next week? Or are you talking about in general?
In general, I believe that we will have a severe bear market somewhere along the way. We do in between every bull market. So why would we believe that this time is any different? Last time we got up to, what was it, 69,000, right? And then we went down to 14,000 or whatever it was, Bitcoin. It was a huge overcorrection.
Like 6, 7. 6,
6, 7. No. Yeah, it was a huge overcorrection, and it won't be any different this time. You're going to see a huge overcorrection, and it will go down to, something stupid, 70,000, something like that, 67,000.
Maybe.
Right. And I'm around kids too.
Yeah.
And whenever it does, all the mainstream media, Jim Cramer will be like, Bitcoin's dead, blah, blah, blah. And it'll go back up to 150,000. Yeah, he'll make the 6-7 sign. And it'll go up to $100,000 and everybody will forget it. And the cycle will continue.
Hold on. Yes, that is most likely true. But one day it will not be true.
That's true. I can remember back in the day whenever people are like, this is the last time Bitcoin will ever be under $10,000. And they said that all the time.
And one day it will.
Every time it would pass $10,000, well, that was the last time you'll ever. And then it'd happen again. It'd go down to 3,000, right? And now eventually you'll be right. It's like every year, if I say the Cowboys won't win the Super Bowl, every year I'm right. Eventually, I'm going to be wrong.
You will
right?
be wrong. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, and that's the
not.
thing is like everything's a gamble, really. And so it is what it is until it's not.
Until it's not right. Everything's not true until finally it is true. All right. Michael Dell. Familiar with Dell and his computers that he's made? Yes. They have donated $6.25 billion with a B, to incentivize 25 million children under 10 to claim new, listen to this is interesting, to claim new investment accounts for children created as President Donald Trump's tax and spending legislation. So what do you think about that? He's actually donating $6.25 billion. And I'm going to have to look into how you would claim this, but it's in to encourage families to actually use it in the markets. It's what it's sounding like. They're calling it Trump accounts.
So they would be able to invest, I'm guessing not trade, but invest with these accounts prior to turning 18. So it'll be custodial accounts.
I do believe it would be illegal for them not to be custodial. But,
So
well, I would think. And it's Trump accounts. He can do whatever he wants. But can you imagine if you had like kids, like 8-year-olds investing? That'd be funny.
I would feel like he would be like, just let them.
Well, I mean, sure, if you're just looking for exit liquidity, or they're smarter than us all. And I don't know, what would an 8-year-old invest in? Disney?
It would probably be, I would love to watch something like that just to see what it would be. It would be like Disney or, stuff like that. And then it would
And
be
you
fun to
watch.
see. Yeah.
You
But
watch. It would beat us all.
yeah, no, honestly, because I do feel like they would, and it would be fun to watch, entertaining. It would check all of these boxes of like, why would we would want to watch that? I just think that Trump would do and say
I
something
don't.
like
I
that.
don't
Like,
think he
just
would do
let
that.
them.
It is cool of Michael Dell to do this. I mean, 6.25 billion. That's a lot of money. But what you were bringing up, it reminded me of the days whenever like trading was really big. Shortly after 2020, when almost everybody was getting into it. Did you ever run into anybody that knew nothing about the market? Now, maybe a lot of people didn't at the time because a lot of people were new. But did you ever meet anybody that secretly you felt like they were just an idiot, but they somehow like traded either well or got lucky on one trade, and you were pissed off at that little fact that they made like six figures on a trade because they backed into it because they were so stupid they didn't listen to anything else?
Yeah, I met a lot of people like that. And then it was just dumb luck, like, well, you got lucky. And then in reality, when we do even make the educated trades, we try to make as educated as a trade as we possibly can. And sometimes that doesn't even go well. But yeah, dumb luck. And I met a lot of those people. And congratulations
And
on
are
that.
they? Let me ask this: if you keep up, are they still? Do they still have those six figures, or did they crash out and burn and were exit liquidity for another trade?
I would say maybe crash out and burn because of the fake self-confidence you have after like dumb luck trades for all of us.
For sure.
And I haven't heard from or I haven't seen them on my timeline at all. Have you?
No, well, yeah, yeah. Of course, I thought of some people too whenever I just said that, and I do not see them on my timeline. It could
Yeah.
be an algorithm thing. I guess I could go search for them, but yes, there are the street of X. The streets of X are littered with people that had a one-time pump and then are gone, and then they wondered what happened, and
One
sometimes
hit
just dumb
wonders,
luck.
man.
One hit wonders. That's exactly right. Um, I have that conversation with you. Favorite one hit wonders. Anyway, not right now. Let's talk about former auto salesman to plead guilty in a discount case. Get this. There was a former Chrysler dealership salesman and his co-defendant. They're ready to plead guilty to a reduced federal charge. So this is serious stuff over allegations that they provided employee discounts to non-eligible customers, to non-employees. This case has potential implications for sales practices in the auto industry. So is that wrong whenever you give the employee discount to your buddy? If you
I
work at
mean,
a Chrysler dealership, is that bad?
you would, I mean, yeah, it's just like doing it at a retail store. They don't let you unless it's you, right? Or
Right.
maybe some of them let you do it to immediate family, but I used to work at a car dealership. It was one of my first jobs, and I would do like the data stuff, and they were pretty strict there. So, and on
Well,
top of it, a lot of salesmen are commission based, so you would think that they don't want to give that family discount because what
Well,
money
this
do
is
you
what I
make?
was going to say. So I've worked at a large box retailer named Walmart, small regional chain. You may not have
What's
heard of
that?
it.
Oh.
Yeah, you might not have heard of it. And they would have, this was a long time ago. So if I'm showing my age, I'm sorry. They had a like discount, almost like a magnetic stripe type thing, like a credit card type of card. And you could swipe it and you would get the employee discount by doing that. And if I went, even if you're paying cash, you swipe that discount card, and I think it took 10, 15% off the price. And you could put it in there and swipe it. And even if it was your buddy and you're like, hey, let me buy this Nintendo game for you, and I'll swipe it, and they'd get the 10 or 15% off. But that's on a cash transaction. On these car transactions, isn't that part of getting a car is you put your name to it? Like the Chrysler dealership knows who's buying the car. No one's putting it in their name. I guess they could have bought that Chrysler in their name and then sold it later, right? But that's probably not happening, right? That's just too much trouble. The
I would think
dealership knew
it's
exactly what was going on, and they let it go on because of commissions and quotas and whatever. And now that they're called out on it, they care. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
anything to make a sale.
Anything right, exactly. And they did anything to make a sale. And finally, whenever it bit them in the butt and now they're in a federal case, then it's, then it's, oh my gosh, this is unfair. All right, Bitcoin's fall could trigger a broader, oh, what do you know here, Christine? A story saying that it could be a trapdoor effect. Says Bitcoin's recent sell-off has dragged crypto stocks and ETFs lower. If it falls below 80,000, it may trigger a trapdoor effect. Now we're at 91,000 today, and I promise I wasn't using this article as a reason for why I was saying.
Yeah, right.
I would not. I would never. But really, it did bounce back, right? It bounced back to above 80,000. But it says if it gets below 80,000, there's a lot of damage that's already done, and it could get even worse. And I agree with that. I do think around 80,000 or so is a critical amount. And I'm not saying it has to be 80,000. I'm just saying I do think there's a critical bit of support, and if that support breaks, it could get really ugly. That's all I'm saying. And you never know if something bad could happen where there's a contagion like it happened last time with the FTX. You get one thing that goes down, and then so many other things that are intertwined into it go down. Yes, will go down as well. So yes, I am not convinced that this is a bounce back and we've hit the final bounce back. But you are, right? You say we're good. We're going to bounce back and we're good. We're going to get a back of 100,000 and just keep on going.
Maybe.
Say it.
Maybe. I'm not going to say it.
I want you to say it.
I know you
have some balls, Christine. Come on. Yeah, it'll do better. What's in that cup? This is where you can drink on the job.
Oh my gosh, so freaking funny.
If there was something in that cup, you would have said it. You would say no. You would have had some balls, and you would have said no. We're going above 100,000.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I just feel like we're getting close to. It's a chokehold out there, but I do feel like we're getting closer to us being wrong, and we might start seeing new highs. Maybe. Who knows if this was the bottom?
To be clear, we have not seen the last all-time high of crypto, of Bitcoin, of maybe of Ethereum. No, I'm kidding. I know
it's supposed to be a million.
Maybe Bitcoin, but never Ethereum.
Right.
And I know I'm different with you on that. I know you have Ethereum to 10,000, but
you don't think Ethereum's going to do 10,000?
It may, but the $10,000 is going to be a weakened $10,000 because the gas fees, the transaction fees of Ethereum. At that point, it becomes much like Bitcoin, where you just use it as a store of value.
They're working on it.
Well, to me, the Ethereum, yeah, I know they're working on it. Oh, yeah, they've really been doing good. To me, the good part about Ethereum is it can be the internet of blockchain, right? You can put smart contracts on it, and you can do so many things on it that you can't on Bitcoin. But to do that, you need cheap transactions. And this is my Voice of DeFi's humble opinion. That I do not believe if we get to $10,000, people will be willing to pay the transaction cost that it'll take for a $10,000 Ethereum. So
that's fine.
Just my humble opinion. It's not to say it won't get there, but we shall see. All right. Our good buddy Fake is in the room, and he wanted to hear of this one, the gaming costs, the true price of gaming in 2026. Have you ever been a gamer? Do you ever play at all?
No. I mean, I've tried, and I'm not a gamer. And then second, I have tried like these Web3 games before as well, and I would try to, move around that world.
I think you might have been a generation too early. Okay,
one
generation later. You are a streamer. You're on a stream right now, therefore you are a streamer. Okay,
I'm a streamer. I didn't even know.
Yeah, you are a streamer. You have done modeling before, things like that. You would have killed it in Twitch or something like that, and 15 years ago or something like that, whenever Twitch was just kind of starting. I don't even know if Twitch was started at the time. Yeah. Point is, during that time, whenever you could have been streaming and playing. Hey, I'm playing whatever, Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, something.
And people would have been watching you. You may have missed your calling on that. But anyway, the cost of gaming in 2026 is more than the price of the console and the games. There's rising hardware prices, expensive subscriptions, microtransactions, and it's turning gaming into not just like a fun hobby. This is something I do that's a little blow off a little steam. Instead, it's become one of these expensive hobbies. You ever seen somebody with like a really expensive hobby? That's what gaming is becoming. And this is bad for the industry. Isn't there a saying of something like pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered? You ever heard that phrase?
No.
The idea is that if you if you eat regularly and eat well, you can be fat. But once you go a little too hard at it and get a little too greedy, then you end up getting slaughtered. Okay. And this is what I think is happening to the gaming industry. You've got to where they're like, oh, let's try microtransactions. Instead of just buying the game and you own all of the game, let's let you buy or even have the game for free. And then every little thing that you do, we're going to charge $5 for. And you're going to have some people that it's going to be pay to win. They're going to pay that $5 1,000 times over. And they're going to have the best team player in the game, right? And you've got other people who are like, I just wanted to play the game and play it. I just bought the game and I just want to play it. And they get slaughtered whenever they play online. Combine that with GPUs, at least for console games, costing more than they ever have, the chips costing more than they ever have. It's made it to where the true price of gaming is maybe where many people just aren't going to get into it. So
Yeah. Fake says that the RAM costs now are so expensive that gaming is super high end now.
yeah, and that's just the RAM. And so I always have like a really like awesome computer just because I like to, and I'm not a gamer, okay? But I really like to have a gaming worthy computer. And I thought about upgrading some RAM the other day, and I looked into it and I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be doing that
Throw
because it's
some
just too
numbers
much.
at us. How much is it?
Well, it depends what you want to get. But if I was looking at like a little 32 gig RAM card or chips, yeah, it was hundreds of dollars and more than it should have been. Used to, it wouldn't be quite that much. Yes, as Fake says, this is the first time that prices aren't dropping after years of the console being on the market. The cheapest time to buy a PS5 or Xbox was 5 years ago. And he's absolutely right. I am a gamer in that I play one game. I own an Xbox so that I can play one game. The Xbox might as well only be able to play this game, and that's College Football 26. That's all I do is play college football all the time on it.
Who knew he was a gamer?
Who knew? Does that make me a gamer if I play one game?
So.
I don't know. I don't even go
don't
online.
know.
I just play. And I get mad because, yeah, anyway, I just want to be able to put in my cartridge and play because I'm old. Anyway, yes, so I do play that often, but he's right. It cost a whole lot for that console. Now the games, we do have a Switch 2 in my household, even if I'm not the one that plays that. It's very expensive. The games are now $90 a game.
What the
$90, Christine.
freaking A?
90.
Those are downloadable games, right?
Oh, that's another thing. I'm glad I've paused the timer because I wanted to rant a little bit on this. That's another thing. So, used to back in our day, you would buy the cartridge, right? And put the cartridge in and play it. Now they have these little bitty cartridges you put in the Switch 2, and you're like, oh, well, at least the game is on that. No. It's basically just a download code. You put your cartridge in the Switch 2, and it will just then download the game as if you just bought it on their online store. You own that cartridge not because you own the game. It's not like you can have that cartridge and then put it into multiple different Switch 2s like you could have for the Super Nintendo or something like that. No, now it's just a way to download. It's just a way to make you feel better about putting a cartridge in your system and then it
Yeah,
downloads
that's weird.
it. So
And then on top of that, I did see, I don't know if you have a Netflix account. I assume everyone does.
I do.
But they have a game section now. And
Yes.
they've been playing with that a lot more. First, when they first launched it, it was like weird, like games that no one wants to play. And then now they're like putting Tetris or this or that and a lot more relatable games. And I was like, I could see what they're doing here. They're going to slowly get rid of the consoles and then,
it could happen. The other thing I can play really well, and I will challenge you to this, Christine. I'll challenge anyone on this. I can whoop anybody in Tetris. Okay, just put that out there. I am good at Tetris. Okay, you just leave that little sliver right on the right or left, and you do the little 4-bar thing, and boom, you get your Tetris. And I'm good at Tetris. I'm not. I don't know how to. I don't know how to say it any other way. I'm good at Tetris. So, yeah.
me
and
too.
should
I challenge you.
do it. Let's do it. Let's have a
Okay.
buy
I
the
wonder-
rumor Tetris. Buy the
Challenge.
rumor Tetris challenge. Yes.
I wonder if we could play each other on Netflix or we could just do the Switch because
And then stream it. That'd be awesome. Or we could like
Yeah.
the game would be in between our screen right here. I don't know. I bet you
Yeah.
Fake knows how to do that. Tell us
I
how to do
bet
that,
you.
Fake.
Yeah, tell us.
Tell us how to do that, Fake. All right. Next up, the last section on here, a multi-chain strategy. Are you familiar with Aave? AAVE. It's
Oh yeah.
okay. They proposed a new multi-chain strategy aimed at optimizing revenue generation and reducing operational overhead. Now, I don't know whether this has anything to do with this, but remember how I told you I have my trading bot and it will trade different things. And for whatever reason, one of the algorithm that I've programmed into it chose to short Aave. Okay, chose to short Aave. And since then, it really went up quite a bit. Maybe it has something to do with this proposal for this new multi-chain strategy. Let me just read the subheading in this. It says, Aave, one of the largest decentralized finance platforms, is reviewing its multi-chain expansion strategy with a temporary proposal titled Focusing the Aave V3 Multi-Chain Strategy. Do you believe, Christine, I know you're a big Ethereum believer, do you believe that a lot of projects are going to have to start being multi-chain to be able to survive all the different fragmented communities? Because a lot of communities are really big into Solana, into Ethereum, into Bitcoin, of course, into all these. If you're going to have a crypto company, are you going to have to be multi-chain to be able to get a broad amount of people to be able to get your product?
Yeah, I feel like you do have to be multi-chain to be able to, because then you're kind of just narrowing it down and minimizing like who you cater to. So I would hope that they know that, and I would advise to do so if not.
Well, especially for them, since they're in finance and DeFi, and I can say sometimes, I hear like, oh, you need to go and try this DEX, or you need to go and try this staking platform. And sometimes if it's on a chain that I don't go to easily, it can be a real beating. So much so that sometimes I'm like, this isn't worth it. And so I'm on Polygon, and then I need to be on Binance Chain, and then I need to be on Optimism, and then I need to go on Sonic, whatever kind of chain I need to be on. And after a while, it just gets to be a beating to be able to go through all of those. If everything in Aave is multi-chain and it makes switching from one chain to another really easily, then I'm more likely to stick with it, and I'll actually use their product. If your product is too difficult for me to use, and sometimes just because I'm a crypto person, I will go through the process of switching chains and doing whatever I need to do. But you and I have done that before, right? Whenever we're deep into Ethereum or something like that and we need to do something on Solana, I know you've bought NFTs on Solana. Whether you regret that or not is another conversation. But you had to convert Ethereum to Solana, right, to make that happen, right? And you went through the process of doing it, and it was a beating. And maybe now you wish you wouldn't have converted it.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all a learning curve.
That's right.
I try to forget about my losses, but you always bring it up.
I always bring them up. I know. But that's what you need. If you don't have me around to remind you of your losses, then your history will be doomed to repeat itself. So I am saving you from making another mistake by bringing it back up. That's what I have to say.
I know. I'm re-traumatized. I need counseling.
Right, because of me. All right, that is it for these topics right here. Appreciate everybody that is in here. By the way, if you haven't shared out the space, please do so. Get everybody in here as possible so they can hear this fire conversation that's going on in here now. But Christine has really been thinking about quantitative easing and quantitative tightening that the Fed has talked about and its implications. So with that, let's do this.
Christine's Corner, where the buzz is hot. Crypto trends or the latest pop plot. From gadgets that glow to stars in the sky. If it's on her mind, you know it's gonna fly. So plug in, tune in, let's take that ride.
All right. So the Fed ends quantitative tightening. I hope you've done some research on this so you can help educate me a little bit. So you can tell me what quantitative tightening is. There's a time in my life when I might have been too immature to have this conversation about quantitative tightening.
That was me yesterday.
So you used to be too young for this, but now you are old and wise. Yeah, yesterday you were too young for this. Now you're a day older.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I know what quantitative tightening is. Because at first it was like, I saw it was a huge deal. Everyone was talking about it. headlines wise. And I, just like most of you, was like, what the heck is quantitative tightening? So, in simple terms, I'm just going to say QT is the Fed's way of pulling money out of the system for the past 2 years they've been shrinking down our balance sheet, so basically letting bonds and securities roll off so there's less liquidity floating around. And
Okay.
when they explained it that way, I was like, okay, I get it, liquidity. So it's less liquidity, they're deleting like the money basically. So why are they choosing to end the QT now? And there's a few reasons. Inflation has slowed down compared to 2022 to 2023 highs. The economy is showing signs of stress, slowdowns, layoffs, massive layoffs, and credit card delinquencies that we've been talking about as well.
Yes. Yes.
Liquidity was getting dangerously low in certain financial markets, and they want to avoid breaking something. And it's almost like the banking crisis last year. So,
So, real quick before you keep on going, what do you mean
yeah.
breaking something? Is this like having an actual like bank run? What does crisis mean if they don't end the quantitative tightening?
I think it's just where everything falls apart and then no one's able to, like, people can't pay back anything and then we just go into full recession mode. Even though it feels like a recession right now, we aren't.
I guess that
Supposedly, we
makes
aren't in
sense.
one.
I guess that makes sense whenever I think in terms of liquidity, right? Because
Yeah.
let's just say any meme coin you've got, if it's got a low liquidity pool, then things get really volatile. And whenever things get really volatile, things can go really bad for that chart.
Right.
And I guess it's very similar with the, call it the U.S. chart. If
Yeah.
you're taking down liquidity, then you make things a little more volatile, and things can get rather the waters can get choppy, if you will.
Oh, yeah. And it feels like it's been choppy. So, ending the QT is basically the Fed signaling, like, hey, we don't want to choke the economy out any further. And then, so what does this mean for the market? Like, that's what we want to know. How does this pertain to us? So, market wise, this puts the traders and investors to have more liquidity. So, it pushes the asset prices up. Stocks usually respond positively because more money is in the system. So it equates to more buying power. And obviously, we love crypto, and crypto loves liquidity. So,
Yes.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, everything will start. We're gonna see it start pumping again, which is awesome. Bond yields may drop as the Fed slows the pace of running off bonds. Risk assets often perform better because the Fed is basically loosening their grip. This isn't a full-on stimulus or anything, but it's a shift towards the right path. Well, for us. And then what does this mean for the average person, like all of us, not just people trading? Borrowing may become easier. There's no rate cuts yet, but ending this is a sign that the Fed's preparing for that. And once the cuts come, the mortgage rates drop, car loans drop, credit card APRs slowly come down, which everyone's been waiting for, and they have been talking about that. Small business loans become less brutal. So this might stabilize the job market after Fed rates like get
So,
cut.
real quick, it sounds to me
Yeah.
like by them just saying they're going to, do some quantitative loosening
Mm.
to end quantitative tightening, it sounds to me like it's just like a precursor to actually a rate lowering,
Yeah. It's
right?
like step
Because
one.
none of this really matters if the rate doesn't lower, because then
Right.
once the rate lowers, then people can borrow money a little bit easier. It becomes much more simple for either businesses or individuals to borrow money. Just because they say quantitative easing, to me, that doesn't really change anything until you actually start changing some rates. At least for me
Right.
and you. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody else it matters, but
Different, yeah.
for me it
But
doesn't.
it is needed for the Fed rates to get cut. So I guess this
Yes.
is step one, and step two should be coming right up, and hopefully that is the case. And when the Fed tightens too long, the companies stop hiring, and that's why we've seen all the layoffs and huge companies closing or even merging or just dropping off the side of the earth. But they feel like maybe they pushed enough and we don't want mass unemployment. And so let's go ahead and end the QT step one. And then hopefully the Fed cuts the rates. And then this can also help retirement accounts. You might be day trading, or your 401k, IRA, or investment accounts benefit at the market gets a wave of liquidity. So people's confidence start improving when their accounts stop bleeding. And this could help reduce the feeling of recession. Blah blah blah. All positive things when I looked into this because I had no idea what this was yesterday. But I also do want to keep things real and realistic. There's a lot of risks with this. It's not all just rainbows and
Sunshine and rainbows.
sunshine.
Right.
Yeah, because asset bubbles can form, more liquidity could push prices back up, so that's inflation risk. The wealth gap widens again when markets pump, and this could just be the Fed trying to avoid a deeper problem quietly that we have yet to see. But I don't know. It's up to you what you want to think. But I did think when I first saw all the headlines, like, what the heck is that? And I had no idea what it was. Glad to know what it is now. And I wanted to share that because it seems positive and we do need step one to get to step two. So hopefully this is what it looks like. And then it does help and it doesn't actually, bottom out going
So
that way.
I guess I have one thought that's just kind of at the top of my mind on this. So I already said that I play college football on Xbox, so everybody knows I'm a college football fan, right? And if you don't know, there's a lot of head coaching changes around the country right now. And whenever there's head coaching changes, there's a lot of turmoil for those programs, right? And in the Fed, so you know where I'm going with this, in the Fed, they're having a head coaching change. Powell will be out, and Trump, I know, wants to put in his own Fed chair. Okay, so during this quantitative easing, right in the middle of maybe a change in leadership with the Fed, does that change anything? Because what if granted, whoever Trump names is going to do whatever he's going to make sure he names somebody that does whatever he's really wanting them to do.
Yeah.
Does that change anything for the lowering of the rates? Because I know Trump has wanted the rates lowered for some time. Does the change in leadership, where it's not Powell and it's somebody else, it's you? Okay, I don't know if Trump really wants to name you or not as the Fed chair. He should.
Yeah, he should.
Should that be even something I consider, that we may have somebody different running things? Because what if we put in somebody and he's like, actually, I don't want to lower the rates. You've changed the bond status, but I don't want to lower the rates. If we have one without the other, does that make the benefits of this kind of go away? And then we see a market correction back down where they're like, oh, because you saw today, whenever all this is kind of talked about, or the last couple of days, whenever all this is talked about, the market kind of pumped back. We kind of found our local bottom. And then instead, what if we don't lower the rates? Because the reason to me the market changes because they think this is an indicator of the rates being changed. And what if the rates aren't changed? To me, the market goes right back to where it was or lower before, and then we're in pain, then max pain.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know too much on how this all goes, and what is supposed to happen and what could really change if he was to put somebody that he assigns into a Fed chair, because we've seen him put people into where he wants to, and it doesn't necessarily work out in his favor, So
For sure. Yeah, and I'm not saying. I think, honestly, if you're asking me to predict this, if this is a poly market or something like that, I think we do lower the rates, and I think this is exactly what is happening. I think we're seeing quantitative easing. Why am I having trouble speaking?
I know. That's why I just started saying QT.
QT, yeah. Yeah, if you have the quantitative easing, and then I expect you later to have the rate change. That shouldn't be a shock to anybody. So, but that doesn't mean it's for sure, right? Nothing.
Do you think that's the right path, or you think it's going to make it worse? Like, we still need a chokehold on us?
No, I do think it's the right path. Mainly, I may just be looking at things in the sunny side here. I do think people need to be able to have the rates low enough to be able to go forward with getting small business loans or getting, personal loans or something like that. That's not to say the feds or even the bank should hand them out too easily, but I do think if the rates continue to go up, we get in a bad place as well. So I don't like that either. So,
yeah.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I know I'm glad I'm not the Fed chair, because I would make the wrong decision for sure. I wouldn't want that responsibility. But I do think that we're in a tough situation here.
Yeah, we are.
There are downsides no matter what we do. So.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I had no idea that borrowing right now was crazy forever. I mean, it's not like we're over here trying to borrow anything like from the banks, but I had no idea they tightened everything up, and most people are hearing no. And if they do offer something, it's at insanely ridiculous
Yep.
rates. Yeah.
It's because the risk is so high. I mean, right now, to me, that shows that the banks know what the economy is like. Occasionally you hear them say something like, we're in a good place. The economy's in a better place than it's ever been before. You'll hear some of these outlandish things, and you and I will be like, I don't think so. A bag of chips is $8.50.
Yeah.
We'll say that didn't make any sense. Well, whenever they actually need to lend out money, that's whenever they're like, oh, it turns out people are having trouble paying their bills. What's to make us think they're going to pay back this loan?
Yeah.
And they
They're
won't.
like, nope. And then the amount of delinquent accounts for, creditors are way
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. So follow what they're doing and not what they're saying. What they're doing is turning people down because they know the economy is in a bad situation. And I don't know if the quantitative easing, see, there we go. Plus the rate change is going to fix things. Matter of fact, I'll just say that in and of itself won't fix things. To get out of this hole that pretty much we've been in since the pandemic, it's going to take a lot of different things and a lot of right moves along the way.
For years.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we'll probably have, different people running the country over those years. Seriously, we may have Democrats running the country and then Republicans again and then Democrats again.
Yeah.
And
And it
somehow
just
we're
goes.
supposed to, somehow we're supposed to fix things through all that. And that will be difficult. All right.
Very
Good,
impossible.
good mental exercise there.
Yeah.
About how to fix things.
And
I don't know
vocabulary exercise.
well, it's like vocabulary and like speech therapy where you learn how to say quantitative tightening.
Quantitative tightening. Quantitative
Yes.
tightening.
Yes. Now quantitative easing. Why don't they say quantitative loosening instead of
I don't
tightening?
know because I thought it was loosening and then I saw easing. So
That'd be QL. Okay. All right.
QL.
All right. With that, that's Christine's segment. Now it's time for my segment. I want to talk about what was my little clickbaity title I had earlier. Are crypto founders just not innovators? Let's talk about it.
Voice lessons, you'll hear it loud and clear. Tech and crypto wisdom, the truth is here. Big thoughts, bold moves, cutting through the haze. When the voice speaks up, you'll be amazed. So listen up.
All right. So, are crypto founders just not, are they just failed technologists, not innovators? As I was looking for the different things to talk about, I'm always trying to find out something where we can either kind of learn something or maybe just kind of open our eyes to the way things really are. And I started thinking about how crypto founders, you and I talked about this, how it's so much different than CEOs. Whenever you were running the OTC Club, you would interview CEOs. And what do you think is the average CEO age and experience of a OTC company?
I would say for an OTC company, I feel like the average was like 40s. Maybe
Okay.
50s.
40s or 50s. Okay. And maybe some amount of education, schooling, something like that.
Yes,
But,
I would say some amount of that.
what about experience? Do you think they were ex-entrepreneurs or they've been through some other business dealings before?
Yes, I would hope so, but yeah,
think?
the ones that I did interview, they did have experience in that.
Okay. And then let's go back to whether it be yourself or with me. We have interviewed several different crypto founders. What would you say the average age would be for a crypto founder?
I don't know, I would say like 20s.
Yes. It's very young. Very, very young. And their
We've
experience?
interviewed ones that are like under 18.
Correct. We have. We
Yeah.
have. Some of them, the other day, I thought of one of them and I was like, is he still around? And I wanted
Yeah,
to see
I
what he's
know
up
who
to.
you're talking about too.
Yeah. And he is still around. Anyway. So, yeah. And are they former CEOs? No, they're not. Okay. So crypto, the founders, many times, if they do have something that they've ever done before, and you might be able to think of some of these as well, it's because they got in a technology startup, tried it themselves, and failed miserably. Okay. So they tried to get on some sort of thing and they failed. So anytime there was experience, it was because they failed venture, usually, it seems like. And I'm speaking generally. I'm sure there's exceptions to every rule. Okay. But crypto doesn't have visionaries. It's just marketers. marketers in hoodies, right? That are like trying to be like engineers, right? So most founders didn't build their technology; they just repackaged the GitHub code bases that were out there. Take, for instance, all the different blockchains that came after Bitcoin, okay? They were usually just forked Bitcoin code somehow. Take, for instance, Litecoin. You're familiar with Litecoin? It's merely just Bitcoin, just repackaged a little bit.
It's just light.
But it's Litecoin, exactly. Our good friend Billy, Shibatoshi Nakamoto, right? Doge is just a fork of other coins. And he says this. It's not like he says, I created this code or anything like that. He forked a previous project out, and it's Bitcoin basically, repackaged, call it Doge, because it started out as a joke, as a meme, right? It was just, it's funny, right? So it was just...
name ever.
Well, it's a great one. It's a great one. And it's just repackaged code base. So I'm not speaking in anti-crypto or anything like that. I am speaking in like, let's just think about some of the hard truths about crypto of who is setting things up. So many founders, they're not engineers. They end up being very charismatic people, and they will end up being good marketers. Don't you find that whenever we were interviewing a lot of founders in crypto, they all, I say all, maybe I shouldn't even say all, more than half of them were very charismatic and could really speak very well. Sometimes.
Yeah. They were. I think, and a lot of this in this industry, I guess, or crypto realm, it was very hype. Like, it moves on hype. So if you're a founder that has personality and energy, and people get hyped, and then the price goes up.
It does. But okay, so now you're actually getting to my next point, which is great. These innovators, these 20-year-old innovators, would then follow the hype. You mentioned hype, but hype goes in cycles, right? Here recently, it's been the AI narrative. Before that, it was the real world assets, right? We were going to have our Jordans were going to be on blockchain somehow, right? Meme coin mania, right? Everything was Pepe, or everything was a dog or something like that. And so all this hype comes. But what comes with hype? Why is it hype and not a long lasting trend? Because it's hype. So all these things go away eventually. And then what does that founder do whenever the chart isn't pumping because they got in early on a hype cycle? The chart dies, right? It goes away. So, name a founder that shipped a good infrastructure that actually changed people's behavior and people used it from day to day, and it wasn't just like a cool white paper. I don't know that I can think of very many.
I'm sure there's some, but we can't think of them from, on the top of their head, because there was too many that didn't.
Vitalik? I mean,
Vitalik.
Sure, I mean, that's like the quintessential one I can say, and I'm sure there's other ones as well. You could do Solana or something like that, but for the most part, no, it's not. It's these narrative pumps, these hype cycles that people get behind, and then it just kind of goes away. How about this one? You and I have discussed this a lot as you and I were making the circuit around for different conventions and things like that, is the influencer group. That's the real CEO. That's who's actually making these things move. People with, hundreds of thousands of followers, they can just put out a tweet and boom, it will make your crappy meme project actually move, right? That's who's actually going. So does it have anything to do, and even if it's a utility token, people, if the influencer says this really is going to solve this problem, the people will follow because they are influencers. They are influenced over a lot of people. So tokens get launched, the influencers get the allocation, sells on their heads, okay? Telegram cults get formed. People are more trading than they are building. And maybe that's the key point to this. We're creating a community. Crypto has created a community of traders, not a community of builders. And you can say that all you want. People are always like, oh no, we're building. Build in the bear market, that sort of thing. No one's doing that. Everybody's trading. And whenever it's a bear market, they're trying to get out so that they can get back in whenever it is time to do it. Okay, so the X narrative, that's all that the roadmap is, right? People are just trying to build attention funnels and then call that innovation.
Yeah, and we saw the downfall of being an influencer on, a bunch of these projects as well. So It's just
100%.
what goes up
Yeah.
must come down. And are you gonna stay through the up and down, or are you gonna be gone?
Most won't. And what I've learned as a trader is just keep in mind that founder does have an exit strategy, and it's not an exit strategy like the rest of the business world. The business world looks to sell at a profit. The exit strategy, whether the founder in crypto wants to admit it or not, it's just get out, just leave. Whenever you're tired of doing it, just leave. Sell your bags, get out, and then it just, for the longest time, people are like, "Is this a rugged project?" And then people are like, "Oh, I think the founder's still around. I saw them online the other day, and it just kind of fades. It's just a Thanos snap, right? It just kind of fades away into nothing." Then the meme coin hype cycle that changed everything because then people were like, forget it. I'm not even acting like we have any utility anymore.
I
Why should you
know.
buy this? Because it's a cute dog with a hat, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of changed things. That's where community all of a sudden became bigger than architecture. Utility was kind of gone. Code was who cares about code? Everything's about the narrative. And there are still some. I mean, Pepe is still a big coin. Fart coin, still.
Shib.
Yeah, Shib's a great one. Yeah, just people got really excited about it. So in the end, here's where I'm going to turn it all around and say it's okay. All of this is actually why crypto can kind of work. Okay. Crypto actually can reward storytelling, right? If somebody can create a good narrative and tell a story behind it, then that coin will probably do well and can be like Fart Coin or Pepe, which sure, I
Or
understand those went,
Doge.
or well, Doge, the quintessential one, because that one doesn't just go up and then down and stay down. That one goes up and then down and then up a little bit more and then down a little. It actually is a market, right?
Right.
Doge is actually a market, as where many of them aren't. I do like also that crypto attracts, the degens, the people that don't wear a suit to the office every day. You and I are both in hoodies today. It looks like
Yeah.
it gets those kind of people. So crypto, it's built on this belief that your meme coin's going to go somewhere, and I kind of like that. I think that actually works for a lot of reasons, but it also probably more often than not does not work very well because there's not many founders that are willing to stick through it. If you find a project that the founder truly is sticking around, it might be a good project to stick around with yourself as an investor, but it might not. Sometimes you just get a founder that really works hard and will never say no, and their token will never go anywhere. But in the end, I think that crypto has went through a really big building cycle, and it's seen its community kind of change in the bull and bear market cycle. And because of that, it's probably stronger in the end. But I think we have to be eyes wide open for the pitfalls of crypto that we've seen and not think that it's just going to go away in the next cycle. Because we're going to come again, just like you said, we're going to hit $200,000 Bitcoin someday. I don't know when. And whenever it does happen, there's going to be this hype cycle again. And people are going to be talking about how great the latest thing is, whatever that thing is. And I think we just need to be able to be able to bring in the information, digest it, and then make the right decisions from there and not get involved in the hype ourselves and
No,
lose all of our money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't like to lose all of our money.
No.
So,
But I do that all the time.
yeah, I know. You still, well, okay, let's talk about another hype cycle that's gone with Bitcoin. Strategy. You're still a strategy holder, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the dividends are coming.
Dividend collector.
Hey, have you gotten more dividends than you've put in originally yet? I don't know if you've done that calculation
I don't
yet.
think so.
Are they not as
don't
high
know.
as they used to be?
Yeah, I don't think they're as high as they used to be because I know that in the beginning I was like, oh, wow, cool. And then it was going down, the stock price or whatever was going down. Bitcoin was going down and it was still shocking. And then now I'll see like, oh, hey, you got $3. Hey, you got.
Oh, it's like 3, because before it was like 40 and 50 or something
I
like
know.
that. And now it's like
Yeah.
3. Okay. Yeah. We ever worried there's kind of a Ponzi going on there? I don't know.
I don't know sometimes. And then someone, I think because we've talked about this numerous times, people have messaged me like, hey, I don't know, man. Maybe you should get it out and cash out because something about questioning, the founder and then just the company and then the money. I'm like, yeah,
My-
I don't even really have that much money in there. So
My questioning with them is just proof of reserves. They say they've got all this Bitcoin. We've got the greatest technology in the world financially where I can actually prove what people hold. Show me the addresses that hold the Bitcoin that Strategy says they hold.
show me the money.
Show me the non-fiat money. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's all I want to see. I just want to see proof of reserves. And I think every exchange, decentralized or centralized, should be able to prove to me that you have the funds that you say you have. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen. Hey, Slick Rod, happy Tuesday to you as well. Slick Rod just hopped in. Yeah, came in here as well. All right. He comes in here just as we were kind of wrapping up, so that's okay.
Yeah.
You can go back, Slick Rod, and look at this, watch this whole thing, and watch. We have some
Yes.
good discussion on this one. You won't regret
You will
this one.
learn new
That's right.
words.
That's right. All right, Christine, before we wrap up, do the outro, anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
Only that we are on our 35th episode. If you have a company or, you have a ticker or a project that you guys would love to get out here onto our show, please message Voice of DeFi or myself, and then
That's
we'll
right.
talk about some.
If you'll see in the right bottom corner here, the bottom right corner says your ad here. You actually could have an ad there. Addition, if you run something with a ticker, be it crypto or OTC, your ticker can be at the bottom with all these big wigs down here. NVIDIA, SPY, Tesla,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Your ticker could be right there with everything, as well as in between maybe our segments. If you want Christine and I to do a little bit of talking about your project, we can do all that as well. So yeah, make sure you reach out to us and we can make that happen. Until then, appreciate you mentioning all that, Christine. We will be back next week for episode 36. And we're going to keep on going, keeping our head down and doing this thing. Till then, love you all. Peace.
Bye.
Chasing the thrill of the digital hive. Dodging tech in a renegade code. This is the path where the bold explode. Behind the charts, the story unfolds. Fortunes are built in the data it holds. From crypto skies to entertainment streams, pushing the edge, chasing dreams unseen. Behind the roar, the story unfolds. Fortunes are built in the data it holds. From crypto skies to entertainment streams, pushing the edge, chasing dreams unseen. Not a rumor where the silence screams. In a world of risks, in electric dreams. Take on the future, take the ride. Sharp minds up on the darker side. Sharp minds up on the darker side. Charts don't lie, but the faces do. Watch the market sway like it's testing you. The gossip's currency is hard to ignore. Behind locked doors lies so much more.